Hey, this is Clayton Olson, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use eye movement integration to cure yourself of any feelings of regret, loss, or anything that's stopping you from feeling healthy and happy again. In EMI, what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to do this on yourself. So whenever you have these feelings of anxiety that come up within you around particular issues in the relationship, maybe it was the breakup specifically, maybe it was something that he or she said to you, maybe it's the idea of starting over or having to be alone right now. You can use this to neutralize those emotions and actually bring in the full resources that you have in your life, including your entire brain, to the issue at hand, which will ultimately give you more flexibility in the way that you think about it, more freedom to be yourself, and really return back to a state of feeling healthy and alive. So before I go into the actual technique itself, I just want to show you how it works. So if you've noticed, even while I've been talking, I try my best to look directly at the camera, but when I'm talking, if I'm recalling a story about childhood, or maybe I'm remembering something that happened to me when I was younger, my eyes will go different directions, and yours will as well. I encourage you to look at friends, family, and watch how their eyes move when they're talking about things. There are different visual fields that we look into when we are recalling memories, or we're, for instance, constructing images or constructing things, making up things that we want to hear, and I'll show you how that works. So when someone looks up and over to the left, this is called visual remembered. So typically they're remembering something that has happened in their past and they're recalling it to memory. If they look over up and to the right, they're visually creating. Now, what's funny about this is, if you think about it, they're looking this way. Typically, in all cultures, a person's past is to their left and a person's future is to their right. And a lot of times, depending on where you put images, sounds, feelings, emotions, when you're able to consciously see where those images and those movies are, and you're able to move them around, they have a different effect on you. And we'll talk about that in a later video. But for right now, just know that when your eyes are moving around in these different directions, they're actually recalling different processes, from remembering something you heard to, for instance, creating something that you want to hear, to feeling something, the bottom, to talking to yourself. This is called audio digital. Now, what EMI does is typically when we have a certain state that we're in, for instance, one of, say, guilt or feeling loss, our eyes are actually locked into one place when we're thinking about that. And typically, if the feeling is really intense, it's going to be down. We're going to be looking down. And what happens is that problem, when it occurs to us and we only are using, we're only accessing one part of our visual field, we're pretty much stuck. We almost have tunnel vision into that problem, and the resources that we have to be able to be flexible in that problem and have different emotions around that problem just aren't available to us. So what EMI does is it takes over consciously a process that will allow you to recruit other areas of your brain into this issue so you can begin to see it differently. And the minute you begin to see the situation differently, you'll be able to approach it differently, and you'll be able to see other options and perhaps ways of being that just weren't there before. So how the process works, I'm going to walk you through that right now, is we're going to go through a couple different patterns. Starting up at the top, here's number 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what you'll need to do this exercise is something that you can focus on, such as, I use a highlighter right here, the tip of a highlighter. And you want to have something in front of you. You don't want to just do it with your eyes, because the focusing on the tip of the highlighter is what allows your brain to actually access these different parts of your memory, as well as the different resources it has to bring it into the current problem that you are evoking in your physiology. So grab a highlighter, okay? And what you're gonna do, and you might wanna watch this video through first and then do it on your own. I'm gonna go ahead and give you these patterns. You can see them right here, but I'll also have them as a printout that you can download off the website. The first pattern that we're gonna do is this one right here. And we wanna do each one about 8 times, okay? Meaning that, so for each line, I go back and forth 8 times before moving on to the next line, okay? So how it would look is I would bring the pen directly in front of my nose, and I'd keep my nose completely straight. And I'd move the pen up and to the right, and then down and to the left. So I'm hitting almost all of my entire visual field. And I would say do this with me on camera, look at the pen, but the screen's probably too small for you to really be able to look all the way up and to the right. So before we do that though, the first step is to evoke the feeling that you have in you right now regarding the breakup, regarding the separation. So take a couple deep breaths and feel that in your body. Perhaps it's a movie. Maybe it's just a movie of your partner breaking up with you. Maybe it's a picture of the things that you guys did and how you're not sure if that's going to happen again, and that brings up anxiety. Whatever it is, dive into that feeling fully, okay? And feel it in your physiology. Feel it in your stomach. Feel it in your chest. Feel it in your hands. I mean, it might even bring tears to your eyes, and that's okay. Because when you face these feelings, only then can you really move through them. Okay, so this isn't about running from it. This is about being able to face it with a full arsenal of what your brain has within it and is capable of overcoming. So step one, feel the feeling in your body. Step two, rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, so 1 being not that intense, perhaps 0 is neutral, so you don't feel anything at all. 10 being it's excruciating and it's just vibrating throughout your body. Okay, so we need some type of standard of measurement in order to do this. So once you've got that down, you'll continue to the first pattern. So you feel the feeling in your body, and then you would have the pen in front of you, about arm's length, and then move it up, move it down, and do this 8 times. While you think and feel the feeling to the best of your ability. So it's very important that you have that feeling in your body as you're doing this and you're continuing to think about it, because that's how you end up reprogramming your response to the feeling in your physiology, okay? So then I would move over to the other line, and I go from this hand down. Okay? Now, after you've done each line 8 times, take a step back, maybe think of a favorite color that you had when you were little, maybe the street that you grew up. That's called a break state, where you step out of the feeling for a second, get your brain to occupy in something else, and now come back and think about the feeling, think about the situation that evoked that feeling, and now rate it on a scale 1 to 10. How has it changed? Okay? And you might notice maybe it goes down 1 point, maybe it goes down 2 points, maybe it goes up 3 points, if say it was a 7, and maybe you're really feeling it now, and that's completely fine, okay? Because we're not done yet. We have a number of other patterns here. So the next one is, once you've got that, that measurement down of how the number from 1 to 10 has changed, keep that in mind, write it down, and go to the next pattern. The next pattern starts like this. So I'm gonna go up until to the very far left with the pen, looking at it, and I'm gonna go down, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 8 times. You can do 5 times as well. You can, between 5 and 8 is fine. I typically do the first pattern at least 8 times each line. And then this one I've been taught to where you can do each one 5 times. So move over to the second line now, continue, 1, 2, 3, all while keeping that feeling in your body. Okay, very important. 8 times, move over, make sure it's all the way over to the farthest that you can look to your right. 8 times. Come back out, break state, think about something else, maybe pat yourself down, get out of the feeling, come back into it, and now ask yourself, how do you feel? Okay? Now, what you should begin to notice is that the feeling becomes less intense, all for the reasons that we were talking about earlier. And continue down these patterns, okay? This one is, I'll just go through all of them so you can see. I'm going this way, across my visual field, but I'm doing each line first, 8 times, 8 times in the middle, 8 times below. Okay, this one, I'm making an X across the top where the farthest I go down is just in the center of my visual field. Each line say 5 times, okay, or 8. And then this one, 5 times, 5 times, okay? And then this one too, same thing in the center. I'm doing basically an X over here, an X, finishing that X, and then an X on this side. And I'm following the pen with my eyes the entire time. Come back, break state, and then see how you feel, and keep note of that. So that's eye movement integration, and what I'd love to hear is, send me an email. Let me know how this works for you. If you have any questions at all, my email and contact information is below. You can get a hold of me. I usually respond within 24 hours. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about this and how it works, which you can find on Wikipedia, you can do a search for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, or you can look at eye movement integration, which was developed by Steve and Connie Ray Andreas, who were my trainers at NLP Comprehensive. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.